Joining me is head football coach Norm Esch. Talking with Coach Kim Nelson-Brown. Talking with Tommy Gilbert from the swim team. And joining us is Coach Oz of women's soccer. Welcome back to the Titan Coaches Show. Joining me now is Coach Ron Rose. And Ron, you've been traveling a lot since the last time we talked.
Goodness, Derek. Yeah. We've been on the road. We had our trip to South Dakota. Longest trip we've ever taken in my tenure we're going 5 days, 15 hours to get out there. Traveled 4 of the 5 days, 3 different hotels, home for a couple days, and then out to Oshkosh. So, which is a 5-hour trip. So, yeah, we've been on the road quite a bit. We've got another stretch here. We're at Elmhurst on Wednesday and at Carroll on Saturday. So it's not done yet, but hopefully it'll toughen us up. And you know, when you spend a lot of time together, you're getting some quality time as a group, and hopefully that'll pay off here.
Well, you've played 6 halves of basketball since the last time we talked. 4 of those up in South Dakota at Aberdeen, beating Nebraska Wesleyan 73-67. 2 more halves against St. Joseph, and then a little extra overtime period. Unfortunately, that one didn't go quite as well, losing 73-64. Tell us about the trip, the games there at the Barnett Center, Wax Arena, and just the atmosphere of the small college basketball champions classic.
Well, it was really an honor to be included in the inaugural event. I mean, it was 4 elite Division III, Division II NAI programs. They had a really nice banquet, really got a lot of coverage for the event. And to be included was quite an honor. And you're going to play 2 really good teams in Nebraska Wesleyan. They're big and strong. They're going to have a great year. There's no doubt about it. They play different style of basketball. They play zone. They run Princeton offense. It was really challenging. I thought we played some good basketball, really competed well. Then we played against a juggernaut in St. Joseph's, got down early. They are as quick of a Division III team as I've played against in my 17 years here. And took them to overtime. Got down, I think, 15, came back, had a 5-point game with 3 minutes to go. Didn't close that out the way we'd have liked, but really saw a strong competitive side to our team. And then you know, the fact of getting to play 2 what I would consider elite small college teams in back-to-back, it really had an NCAA tournament feel to it. And so, that was 2 weekends in a row, from the Jack Sikma tournament to the Small College Champions Classic. Really some great competition and great environments to play in.
Well, 2 guys who stepped up pretty big in both of those games, Lucas Heflin and Cody Mitchell, leading team in scoring. Heflin had 22, Mitchell had 17 against Wesleyan, and then against St. Joseph, it was flip-flopped. Mitchell had 22, and Heflin had 16. Tell us a little bit more about those guys.
Well, early in the game, I'll tell you that we were having a hard time cracking their zone, and we brought in Marco Anderson, and Marco did a great job getting us on the board, made some hustle plays, got some offensive rebounds, kind of got us back into the game. And then in the second half of that game, Lucas really found some holes in their zone defense, hit 3 huge threes, kind of to expand the lead for us. Cody was just kind of constant all weekend in terms of hitting the glass and just competing at a high level. Cody's experience really showed up over that weekend. But both seniors, I thought, played very well. And, helped us stay competitive here early as other guys gain valuable experience.
Well, you kind of went where I was wanted to go next. Marco Anderson, I got to see a little bit of that game. I teach high school, and that game was in the morning, so just before class started, I watched. And I turned it on just as Marco got his first bucket. Yeah. And it seemed like the Marco Anderson show for about 5 to 7 minutes of game time, because he got the ball in the high post and made moves, and all of a sudden he was in there 4 for 4.
Marco's got a high motor, high energy, has a great feel for the game, so that 2-3 zone that they were throwing at us, he really has a knack of finding the open areas, making the right decision, and had a great game. We don't win that without his contribution. And like I said, early on, we were really struggling. They got up on us early, and he made a couple hustle plays, offensive rebound putbacks that closed that gap, which I thought was really important.
Oh, and I think you were down like 7-0 when I turned it on, and that's when Marco came in and did what he did. Well, you mentioned that after you went up to South Dakota, you came home and then traveled back up to Oshkosh. Why didn't you just play them in South Dakota, stay an extra day? Because they were the fourth team that was there.
They were there as well. Yeah, they were there. That would have made our travel much easier had we got a third game in. And you know, Oshkosh, like St. Joe, is a top 10 team in the country. I mean, we've really challenged our group early in playing some quality teams. In fact, I believe St. Joe, if you go by some of the analytics, is the number 1 ranked defense in the country so far. Oshkosh is the number 2 ranked defense. So we've been challenged, and we've got to get a lot better. I mean, that's just the bottom line. Is we have to execute, learn how to play better as a team, to help each other out more. But we're also being really challenged. You know, that we're playing some teams that don't give you anything easy, and so I'm hoping that through this process of playing quality opponents, we're going to ultimately be the best version and the best team that we're capable of being.
Well, and you hung with Oshkosh for the first half. You played, as I said earlier, you played 6 halves of basketball. I would say 5 very good halves.
Oh yeah, it was a 2-point game. It was a tie ball game with 30 seconds to go. They hit a shot and it was actually a 4-point game with 7 minutes to go. The end score, you know, the scoreboard always doesn't tell the truth.
Right.
And the at the very end, you know, it shows, I think it was 19 points, but it got away from us not until the last 4 minutes. I think it was maybe even a 5 or 7 point game with 4 minutes to go. I mean, we were within striking distance. To their credit, they had some kids step up and hit some huge threes. We had a hard time putting the ball in the bottom of the net there late, but it could have, that was a winnable game as well. And so we're sitting at 2-3. We've been in every game. We've competed in every game. We just have to tighten some things up and do a few things better to come out on top. But we've competed with everybody that we've played, just haven't found ways to win those games yet.
Well, your last 2 games, at the time that you played them, St. Joseph was number 13, UW Oshkosh was number 3. So it gets easier now. Oh, wait a minute. It's CCIW. It doesn't get any easier. Elmhurst, Wednesday night.
Yeah, Elmhurst will likely be for sure in the top 15, probably in the top 10 in the country by when the polls come out. So yeah, again, you know, we're seeing another top 20 team, and maybe I need to get my head checked, Derek. A lot of people would probably believe that's true. I think our guys would rather be challenged. I would rather play the best competition you can, in hopes that we're prepared for a team like Elmhurst, who, you know, coming off a national championship game last year. A lot of those guys are back. It's going to be a heck of a game, a big challenge for us. And hopefully the games at Oshkosh, St. Joe that we've just played have prepared us for that type of level of intensity.
Well, earlier in the show, we had Coach Maya Smith on talking women's basketball, and we talked about what it takes to win the CCIW. And I'm sure you're going to agree with this. Defend the house, win the home games, win the ones you're supposed to win on the road, and then steal 1 or 2 of those other road ones. Well, on the men's side, every road game is one to steal that's on the road, because there are no gimmies.
There are no gimmies. There have been in the last decade, usually 4 teams in the top 20. One year we had 5 teams in the top 20. So, and one of the things that I think is unique about our conference are every year there are teams that finish 6th, 7th, and 8th that are knocking off the teams that are finishing 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. So you're right. There's no night off in the CCIW, and that's a good formula though. You got to win your home games, and you got to, when you go on the road, you got to have that toughness to steal a few. And the team that can be consistent throughout over the course of the season is the one that typically comes out on top. But there are no. I mean, it's and this is different than previously. We used to have until January. Carroll joined the league 5 years ago. Now we're playing. It's early. I mean, it's the beginning of December. We're playing our first conference game after 5 games. So no teams are probably playing their best yet. So you got to find a way to grind out a win if you can.
Well, and you got the next 4 games are conference games at Elmhurst, at Carroll, home versus North Central, and home versus Wheaton. And 3 of those are on Saturday, just November 30th, this Wednesday. Elmhurst. Now, you mentioned a little bit about Elmhurst, their history last year, national title game, a lot of their players back. And people aren't going to hear this till right before game time if they listen to WESN. So give us a little insight here what the game plan is against Elmhurst. That's what I'm telling you. Nobody's going to see this beforehand, so you're not giving it
I'm not giving away. Coach Baines isn't going to listen to this.
He will not. He'll be in his locker room or out on the court when it's playing on the radio. So, and if he does listen to this, you got to give him credit for working that hard for the scout.
Knowing John, he doesn't let too many things go uncovered. They're a veteran team. John's been there for several years. He's got a program in place. The things they do exceptionally well. If you look at their 5-0 and they run in transition, they're averaging 94 points a game. They get out in transition, and they traditionally rebound the ball as well as anybody. So they've hit the glass. So you have no chance if you don't get back in transition and defensive rebound. Those 2 are a must so that you can get into a competitive battle with them.
Well, Coach, we wish you well tonight as this airs, if they're listening on the radio, or in the past for those who catch it on Thursday. Next games, before we talk again, you play Elmhurst on Wednesday night at Elmhurst, and you can listen to that. It's going to be streamed, or you can listen to it on WESN. And then December 3rd, that's Saturday at Carroll. That's a 4:15 start for the men. That one also on WESN or streamed. If you want to do the audio stream because you don't live in Bloomington, you can do that by going to iwsports.com, click on the men's basketball schedule, and click on the listen for that game. And here, Eric Stock and I believe Joel Swanson will be joining him for those games also. So, Coach, good luck, and we'll talk to you again in a week.
I appreciate you having me on, and appreciate Joel and Eric making the road trips with us and doing the games. So a lot of exciting Titan basketball in store this season, and appreciate you having me on.
That is Coach Ron Rose, men's basketball. I'm Derek Bohlman. You've been watching and listening to Titan Coaches Show.